Okay, so let me ask you something. Have you ever made a really positive change in your life? Started a new habit, finally set a boundary, got healthy, only to be met with, well, with anger? It's such a confusing and honestly a painful experience. Today we're going to unpack exactly why your success, your growth, can sometimes create this really surprising and negative reaction in the people around you.
It all kind of starts with this really fascinating ancient observation. So picture this. Someone shows up to improve things, to seek the welfare of the people, and the reaction from those in charge was they were displeased. It's kind of weird, right? I mean, why would anyone get upset about someone else trying to do something good?
And that, right there, is the big question for us today. Because this isn't just some dusty old puzzle. It is a psychological reality that plays out all the time in our families, our workplaces, and our friendships. Why does someone else getting better sometimes feel like a personal attack?
So to really get this, we're going to look at it through a clinical lens. We're going to break down this strange kind of anger and see what's actually going on underneath the surface.
Now, here's the part that's so important. It's all about the timing. The opposition, the anger, all that resistance. It didn't show up when the city was a mess and the walls were in ruins. Nope. It showed up the moment someone picked up a brick to start rebuilding. The resistance kicks in when the restoration begins.
Okay, so how does this actually apply to us right here, right now? Well, because your personal healing, your growth, it's not just some private thing that happens in a vacuum. It sends ripples through every system you're a part of. And sometimes those little ripples can feel like tidal waves to other people.
In family therapy, there's a really great concept for this. It's called dysfunctional equilibrium. Now, I know, it sounds super complicated, but the idea is actually pretty simple. Every system, especially a family, is always trying to find balance, or equilibrium. But here's the catch. A system will fight to keep that balance, even if the balance itself is totally unhealthy. The chaos starts to feel normal, and any attempt to create stability feels suspicious.
And this is a perfect illustration of what happens when one person decides to change that balance. When you finally start setting boundaries where there were none before, or when you stop being the one who does absolutely everything for everyone. When you get sober, or you confront a hard truth, or you just simply start to believe in yourself. Every single one of these amazing positive steps can, without you even intending it, threaten that fragile, unhealthy balance the system has learned to depend on.
So this is the whole point, right here. From the outside, you're just getting healthy. But to a threatened system that depended on you playing your old role, your old patterns, your old silence, your wellness can literally feel like a betrayal. You stopped playing your part, and that can make other people deeply, deeply uncomfortable.
But hold on. Here's the pivot, because this whole thing isn't just about external forces. It's not just about other people's reactions. The toughest, hardest battle is often way, way closer to home.
Yeah, because for every critic you have on the outside, there are usually a few living right inside your own head, and they are doing everything they can to stop you from rebuilding before you even lay the first brick.
Do any of these sound familiar? That little nagging voice of internalized shame or old trauma that just whispers, "Who do you think you are?" Or, "You're just going to fail anyway, so why bother? You don't really deserve to be happy." That right there, that's internal resistance. And man, is it powerful.
And what's so validating about this is that it's not just one theory. I mean, check this out. Cognitive behavioral therapy calls these negative core beliefs. Trauma therapy sees them as protective parts that are just trying to keep you safe by keeping you small. And many faith traditions might just call it opposition. You have three completely different fields all pointing to the exact same truth. There's a part of us that fights against our own healing just to hold on to what's familiar.
Okay, so we've got external resistance from other people, and we've got internal resistance from ourselves. It can feel like you're fighting a war on two fronts. So, what do? How do you possibly hold steady when it feels like everything and everyone is trying to push you back?
This is the moment of crisis. When all that pushback gets really intense, these are the thoughts that just flood your brain. It's that moment where you start to seriously doubt your own growth. And this is the exact point where so many of us just give up and go back to that old, broken down, but familiar way of being.
So, how do we push through this? Well, we can actually borrow a page from the therapist's playbook. When a client hits this wall, a good counselor does 3 things to help stabilize them. First, they normalize it. They'll say, "Hey, this is totally expected. Growth always disrupts things." Second, they reinforce a critical idea. Resistance does not mean you are wrong, it just means you're making waves. And third, they help you assess the situation. Are you actually in danger,
Or is this just the very predictable, very real emotional discomfort that comes with change?
And all of that brings us to our final, and maybe the most powerful idea of all. It's a complete reframing of what all this resistance actually means for you.
Now, this is a pretty advanced insight, but stick with me here. Think about it. If you're trying to change your role in a dysfunctional system and nothing happens, if nobody gets uncomfortable, there's no pushback at all, then you probably haven't actually changed your behavior yet. A lack of resistance might just mean a lack of real action.
So the huge takeaway from all of this is right here. Resistance, both from inside you and from the outside world, it isn't a stop sign. It is not proof that you are doing something wrong. It is a marker of progress. It's the friction that proves the gears are actually turning. It means the wall is going up. Resistance doesn't mean the rebuilding stops. It means it's working.
And that leaves us with one last thought to reflect on. As you move forward in your own journey of growth, just ask yourself this: what role did I used to play that, even if it was really hurting me, other people might have benefited from? The answer to that question might just tell you exactly where to expect the resistance and how to know for sure that you're finally on the right track.